All right, welcome everyone to today's episode. We're diving deep into the world of grocery shopping, but hold on tight. We're not just covering the basics. We're going to explore advanced vocabulary and tips that will elevate your grocery shopping experience to an entirely new level. You ever walk into a supermarket and feel like you're lost in a maze? Well, let's help you navigate those aisles like a seasoned pro.
Ooh, I love this. So hold on, what do you mean by aisle navigation? Like, is there an actual map or something? Plaths.
Well, it's not so much a physical map as it is a mental one. Imagine exploring a vibrant city without losing your way. You definitely need to know where the produce section is versus the dairy aisle. Understanding aisle navigation is crucial for saving time and avoiding those impulse buys, like ending up with 10 bags of chips you never intended to purchase.
Right, totally relatable. So, what's the deal with impulse buying? Is it really that common?
Absolutely. It's more common than you think, especially when your stomach starts rumbling. You end up grabbing things just because they catch your eye. It's like a siren calling you to the rocks. That's where understanding shelf life becomes essential. You definitely don't want to be stuck with 3 containers of guacamole that spoil before you can finish them.
Oh wow, so there's actually a strategy behind this. Whew, you mentioned shelf life. What exactly do you mean by perishables versus non-perishables?
Great question. Perishables are items that spoil quickly. Think fresh veggies or dairy products. Non-perishables, like canned goods or pasta, can sit on your shelf for months, sometimes even years. It's like having a safety net in your pantry. If the zombie apocalypse happens, you want to be prepared.
Zombies? That's a wild analogy. So do you really keep this stuff in mind while you're shopping?
You absolutely need to. It's all about being strategic. For instance, knowing about bulk purchases can be quite beneficial. Buying in bulk often saves you money, but you need to ensure that you'll actually use those items before they expire.
Oh, totally. I couldn't imagine buying a giant pack of lettuce. That would rot before I even finish it. Times laughs.
Exactly. Speaking of which, if you want to be a savvy shopper in the grocery store, here's a pro tip. Always ask about any loyalty rewards. Stores often have these hidden perks for regular customers.
Oh, loyalty rewards. I've seen signs, but I never really checked them out. So how do you even ask about those?
Definitely. You could say something like, "Are there any unadvertised specials on these items?" Imagine walking out with your groceries and a handful of discounts. It's the polite detective work of shopping.
Wow, I never thought of it that way. And what if they don't have what I need? How do I handle that?
Then you pivot. Just ask, "Do you know if any of them are on promotion?" It's all about getting the most bang for your buck.
Got it. So it's like negotiating. What if I realize I got overcharged at checkout?
That's the perfect time to assert yourself. You could say, "I think I was overcharged for the Greek yogurt. The shelf price said $3.99, but it scanned as $5.49. Confidence is key here.
Wow, I'm really getting pumped about this. I think I could be that savvy shopper now.
You totally can. And remember, mastering small talk can enhance your shopping experience. For instance, commenting to the cashier about how long the checkout lines are, or asking for their favorite products. It's all about forming connections.
Asterisk. Yes, this has been so eye-opening. I had no idea shopping could be so tactical. What other smart tips do you have?
Stick to your grocery list to avoid those impulse purchases. This is solid gold. Additionally, always compare price per unit costs. While it may seem tedious, it can save you so much money in the long run.
Whoa, so it's like being a detective on a budget.
Exactly. You're not just shopping, you're transforming into a savvy consumer. So there you have it. You've got the vocabulary and the tips. Now go forth and shop like a pro.
I'm stoked. Can't wait to share all this knowledge with my friends. Thanks for all the insights.
You got it! Happy shopping, everyone!
Welcome back, Deep Divers. Ready to unlock the secrets of the supermarket.
We're going deep on this one, exploring the language, the tactics, all the hidden stuff that shapes our shopping experience.
We've got some fascinating sources lined up, and I gotta say, I learned a ton just prepping for this deep dive.
Oh yeah, anything surprise you?
Well, I've always known about impulse buying, like who hasn't fallen for that candy bar at checkout?
Classic.
But I didn't realize there's a whole psychological term, loss aversion, that explains why it works. It's like we're so afraid of missing out on that sugar rush that we just grab it without thinking.
Fascinating, right? Supermarkets are playing chess while we're playing checkers.
Totally. And then there's all the lingo like shelf life, which, duh, I know what it means, but...
That thinking about it strategically, right?
Exactly. It's not just about avoiding expired milk. It's about planning your meals so you use up those perishables before they go bad. Less waste, more deliciousness.
Now you're speaking my language.
And of course, the age-old battle, generic versus brand name. I used to be a brand loyalist, but then I discovered the power of unit cost comparison.
Oh yeah, that's a game changer.
It's not about the sticker price. It's about breaking it down to the price per ounce or pound. Sometimes those generic options are way more bang for your buck.
And it ties into so many other factors like loyalty rewards programs and even sustainable packaging. Some shoppers prioritize brands that align with their values, even if it costs a bit more.
It's like every decision has these layers of complexity. I remember when I first started online grocery shopping.
Oh, tell me about it.
I went overboard with all the filters, organic, locally sourced, ended up with a cart full of fancy stuff I couldn't afford.
Ouch.
Expensive lesson learned. But it made me realize how much these terms influence our choices, even subconsciously.
Absolutely. And that's why our sources emphasize the importance of asking detailed questions. Like, instead of just grabbing any old coffee, you could ask, do you carry any fair trade coffee beans?
Or, is this organic produce locally sourced? It's like speaking a secret language.
Right. And once you start using those phrases...
You sound like a pro.
Exactly. You become an empowered consumer, someone who knows what they want and isn't afraid to ask for it.
So how do we master this supermarket speak?
Well, there are some key phrases that can really up your game. And it's not just about sounding fancy.
It's about getting what you want, right?
Exactly. Like instead of just asking, is this on sale?
Yeah.
You could say,
are there any unadvertised specials on these items? Ooh, sneaky.
See? You're actively seeking out those hidden gems. You're not just a passive shopper anymore. You're a detective.
I like it. So what about when you're at checkout and the price is wrong? It's always so awkward.
Oh, yeah, that's a classic supermarket scenario. But don't worry, our sources have got you covered.
Give me the magic words.
Instead of fumbling through an explanation, you can confidently say, excuse me, I notice a price discrepancy.
The shelf tag listed this item as price, but it rang up as price. Bam!
Perfect. You're stating the issue clearly, assertively, but respectfully. And you can apply that same approach to other situations, like asking about coupons or bulk discounts.
Now you're talking. Okay, I have to ask, who actually makes small talk at the supermarket?
You'd be surprised. It's a shared experience, and even a quick comment can create a little connection.
So instead of silently fuming behind someone with a full cart,
you could try a friendly, wow, looks like you're stocked up for a while.
Maybe you'll make the wait more bearable.
Exactly. It's those little interactions that can turn a mundane errand into something a bit more pleasant.
All right, let's imagine we're in the supermarket now. We're armed with all this knowledge, ready to put it into action.
Game time.
Say I'm looking for something specific, like gluten-free flour. I'd probably just ask, do you have gluten-free flour? But I'm guessing there's a better way.
Oh, definitely. Instead of a yes or no question, you want to be more specific, like, excuse me, I'm looking for a gluten-free flour blend. Could you point me in the right direction?
Okay, much more precise.
And while you're at it, why not slip in a question about promotions? Like, are there any special offers on gluten-free products right now?
Ooh. Two birds with one stone.
Exactly. You never know what deals you might uncover.
Right, now let's talk about the dreaded price discrepancy at checkout.
Ah, the worst.
You know that moment? The item rings up higher than what you saw on the shelf, and suddenly you're like,
yeah, do I say something? Do I just slink away?
Exactly. It's so awkward.
Well, remember, you have every right to make sure you're being charged correctly. And our sources have a great script for this.
Hit me with it.
Excuse me, I believe there's a price discrepancy. The shelf tag listed this item as price, but it rang up as price. Could we double check that?
Boom. Polite, clear, and assertive.
Exactly. And while you're at it, why not ask about coupons? Do you have any store coupons for this brand?
All right, it's starting to feel like a supermarket ninja. So what about sustainable shopping? How do we bring that up?
Well, you could start by acknowledging something positive, like, I've noticed you're expanding your organic section. That's great to see.
Oh, I like that. Positive vibes.
And then you can follow up with a question like, are any of these organic products sourced locally?
So you're starting a conversation, not just
a quick question, yeah.
you might actually learn something.
Right. The employee might tell you about their sourcing practices, partnerships with local farmers. You never know.
It's like turning a shopping trip into an educational experience.
Exactly. Supermarkets are more than just places to buy groceries. They reflect so much about our society, our values.
Our eating habits.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, our sources offer some practical tips for a smoother shopping experience.
Oh, yeah, those are great.
The one that jumped out at me is sticking to a grocery list.
Ah, the classic struggle.
It sounds so simple, but
But how often do we end up with a cart full of impulse buys?
too often. But knowing about that loss aversion thing, that helps.
Right. Recognizing those marketing tactics can help us make more rational choices.
Absolutely. And while we're on the topic of smart choices, let's not forget unit cost comparison.
Oh, yeah, that's essential.
Don't just assume the bigger container is the best deal. Do the math, break it down, see what actually saves you money.
And speaking of saving money, those loyalty rewards
I
programs.
love a good rewards program. It's like getting a little bonus just for shopping. Those discounts can really add up.
Absolutely. And finally, a tip that can save you both time and stress. Shopping during off-peak hours.
Oh my gosh, yes. Avoid those crowded aisles and long checkout lines. Early mornings or late evenings are the best.
It's like a whole different world.
You can actually enjoy your shopping experience.
Mm-mm.
And if you have the space, maybe stock up on those non-perishable items in bulk.
It saves you money in the long run.
So we've covered a lot of ground here, from supermarket lingo to savvy strategies.
I feel like we've earned our shopping badges.
Totally. But remember, this is just the beginning.
The supermarket world is constantly changing.
So we've really dug deep into supermarkets. We've cracked the code, learned the language, even explored the psychology behind it all.
It's amazing how much is going on beneath the surface, right?
Totally. Like, we think we're just grabbing some groceries, but it's this whole intricate system designed
But it's
to...
influence our choices.
Exactly. But now we're wise to it. We can decode those messages and make choices that are right for us, not just what the marketers want us to buy.
That's the power of knowledge, right?
Absolutely. And, maybe this deep dive will even spark some conversations out in the real world.
Oh, yeah.
Like, imagine you're in the checkout line and you overhear someone debating between, I don't know, organic versus regular bananas.
You could chime in with some of your newfound wisdom.
Exactly. Turn that grocery run into a learning experience.
Spread the knowledge.
So what's the big takeaway here? What do we want our listeners to remember?
I think it's that supermarkets are more than just places to buy food. They're like windows into our culture, our economy, our values.
Yeah, it's all connected.
And by paying attention to those details, by really being present during your shopping experience, you can learn so much.
And make more mindful choices.
Exactly. So the next time you step into that supermarket,
Don't just autopilot through it.
right, take it all in, engage with it, and who knows, you might even enjoy the experience.
Well said. And on that note, we'll wrap up this deep dive into the wonderful world of supermarkets. Hope you learned something new today. And as always, happy shopping.
Okay, but imagine you're at the supermarket,
Uh-huh.
but you're not just, grabbing the same old stuff. You're navigating the aisles
Yeah.
with confidence. Maybe even using some, cool English phrases
Right.
to impress the cashier.
Yeah.
That's what this deep dive is all about.
I like that.
It's like we're giving you a superpower.
Super. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. But even something like grocery shopping, which most people find,
Yeah,
kind of boring,
right.
can be more exciting if you have the language to navigate it.
For sure. And the cool thing is, you ready for this?
Yeah?
Our source material is actually a sample script for an English learning podcast.
Oh, wow.
So we're basically deep diving into a deep dive.
Like Inception.
Right?
But yeah, seriously though.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see how they break this down, for someone learning English.
Exactly. So let's pretend we're walking through the supermarket together.
Okay.
First thing they talk about is the grocery list. I'll admit, I don't always use one.
Yeah. I find those essential, not just for language learners,
Yeah.
But for anyone who wants to, shop efficiently.
Yeah.
Helps you stay focused. Avoid impulse buys. Save time and money.
Okay, I'm convinced. Grocery list it is. So we've got our list. We're in the store, ready to go. The script mentions 2 options. For shoppers who are in a hurry, self-checkout and the express lane.
Yeah, I mean, choosing the right checkout can be key.
Oh, for sure.
Especially if you're in a rush.
Or
Self-checkout is great if you just have a few items.
yeah,
But for bigger shopping trips, the express lane can be a lifesaver.
definitely. Now, speaking of strategic shopping, the script highlights the importance of knowing where to find things. Specifically, they talk about the organic section.
Right.
Which I guess might not be a familiar term for everyone.
Yeah, I mean, organic food it's really popular now. So
Yeah.
most supermarkets have these dedicated sections.
Right.
Usually with produce, dairy, packaged goods
Yeah.
that meet certain,
Organic standards.
But it's important to remember that organic can mean different things in different countries.
Oh, that's interesting.
So yeah, it's worth checking the label carefully.
Good point. And while we're checking labels,
Yeah.
we'll also mention the expiration date, which, I know that sounds basic,
Yeah.
but you'd be surprised how many people don't even look at it.
It's so important, though, not just for food safety,
Yeah.
but for, reducing waste.
Right.
Being mindful of expiration dates can actually save you money.
Oh, really?
Yeah. For example, if you know you're not going to use something before it expires,
Yeah.
buy a smaller quantity.
Okay.
Or choose frozen or canned alternatives.
That's smart. Okay, now for the fun stuff.
Yes.
Deals. The script talks about clearance sales and those amazing Bebo offers.
Oh, yeah.
Buy one, get one free.
You can't beat those.
Right. But I've always wondered, is BeGo like a uniquely American thing?
It's definitely a big part of American shopping culture. But you do see
Yeah.
similar promotions in other countries.
Yeah.
They might not use the term boo go, but the concept is pretty universal.
Interesting. And if we're talking about saving money, we have to mention loyalty cards.
Yes.
Is this common?
Yeah. Loyalty programs are becoming more and more popular all over the world.
Okay.
Supermarkets use them too.
Yeah.
Reward their regular customers,
Mm-hmm.
track shopping habits,
Right.
and encourage you to
Yeah.
come back and shop again.
Makes sense. So let's say we've made it through the store, navigated the organics section, snagged some awesome deals, and we're feeling pretty good about our English skills so far. But now we actually need to talk to someone.
Right.
The script introduces a bunch of phrases for asking for help, which
Yeah.
can be a little intimidating, especially for language learners.
For sure.
But the phrases they give are very simple and polite and
Absolutely.
effective. Like,
Yes.
excuse me, do you have any non-dairy milk? I mean, that's the phrase I use all the time.
That's a great example
Yeah.
of how you can use language to express,
Right. Yeah.
specific dietary need,
Right.
which is becoming more important these days.
Definitely. And they also have phrases for asking about sales and discounts. Like, do you know if this product is on sale? Or are there any discounts on bulk purchases?
Those are great because they're polite,
Yeah,
but you're still finding out about potential savings.
for sure. Okay, so we found our items, maybe asked for some help, and now our basket is full. Ready for checkout. What kind of phrases do we need for this final stage?
Well, they cover a lot of essential checkout phrases.
Okay.
Starting with the basics.
Yeah.
Like, can I pay with my credit card? Or do you accept digital payments? Which is important because, there are so many different payment options these days.
Yeah.
It's good to be prepared. It's not just about the payment methods, though. They also have phrases for specific situations.
Okay.
Like requesting cash back. Or if you think there's been like a pricing error.
Right, like I think I was charged incorrectly. Can you check the price? I'll admit, sometimes I hesitate to say something if I think there's a mistake. But it is important to speak up.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And having, a clear phrase like that
Yeah,
makes it so much easier.
for sure.
It's about being polite, but also confident.
Right.
And,
Yeah.
even if there isn't a mistake, just asking them to double check can give you peace of mind.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so payment is sorted. But before we leave, the script throws in a curveball. It encourages us to make small talk
Oh, yeah.
with the cashier. I
Interesting.
never thought of that as like a language learning opportunity.
It can be, though.
Yeah.
Those little interactions, they're a great way to practice conversational English
Okay.
in a low-pressure environment, I
Sure.
suggest. Simple things like commenting on how busy the store is or asking for recommendations.
Oh, like, it's really busy today. Is it always like this? Or
Yeah.
do you have any recommendations for a good one?
Exactly.
Wait, are we allowed to ask cashiers for recommendations?
Well, it depends.
Yeah.
You have to read the situation. If they seem friendly and approachable, then yeah, a casual question like that can be nice.
Right.
But if you're not sure, you can always frame it as more of a request for their expertise.
Okay.
Like, I'm looking for a good wine for a special occasion. Do you have any favorites?
That's good. Okay. I'm convinced. Small talk, check, I have to say, I'm really impressed by how much thought they put into these phrases.
Me too. It's very well structured.
Yeah.
And speaking of structure, the script actually includes some sample conversations
Oh, cool.
to show how these phrases might sound in real-life situations.
I like that.
You want to take a look?
Yeah, let's eavesdrop on some supermarket dialogues.
Yeah.
The first one starts with a customer looking for gluten-free pasta.
Okay. Finding specific dietary items can be tricky.
Yeah, especially in a big supermarket.
Yeah. But this conversation shows how a simple question can help you find exactly what you need.
Right. And the staff member is so helpful. Not only do they point the customer in the right direction, but they also mention the organic section as a good place to look for specialty items.
Yeah. That's why it's so important to have knowledgeable and helpful staff.
Yeah,
They can make the shopping experience so much smoother,
for sure.
especially for people with specific dietary needs.
Absolutely. And then the customer takes the opportunity to also ask about dairy-free cheese. So they're like, getting all their questions answered at once.
That's good. Efficient.
Right.
Making the most of the interaction.
Okay, next conversation. This one takes us to the checkout,
Right.
which can be a little stressful, if you're feeling flustered or self-conscious about your English.
Yeah.
But this dialogue shows how to handle it with grace.
I like that.
It starts with the cashier's greeting. Hello. Did you find everything you needed?
Nice. Very welcoming.
Right. And the customer's response is perfect. Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
By the way, do you take Apple Pay?
Perfect.
It's so casual, but polite.
And it's important to clarify the payment options
Yeah.
up front
Yeah,
to avoid any awkwardness or delays.
definitely. And the cashier confirms
Yeah.
that they do take Apple Pay and even explains how it works.
Great customer service.
Right.
They're willing to adapt to new technologies,
Yeah.
take sure the transaction is smooth.
Exactly. And then the customer adds a request for cash back, which is a lifesaver sometimes. The cashier's response is great. Sure. How much would you like?
Very professional.
Okay. Last conversation. This one is all about asking about a sale,
Okay.
which can be tricky if you're not sure about the details in this case. The customer has seen a sale on cereal and they want to know if the discount is applied automatically,
Smart.
right? Because there's nothing worse than getting to the checkout and realizing the sale wasn't what you thought. So
Exactly.
the staff member explains that it's a buy one, get one free deal, but only if you buy 2 boxes.
Okay.
So it's important to read the fine print. And the customer, being a savvy shopper, asks if there are any coupons.
Guilty.
Never hurts to ask.
Yep.
And the staff member suggests signing up for the loyalty program
Oh, nice.
to get weekly coupons.
That's a win-win.
Right.
The supermarket gets a loyal customer, and the customer gets coupons.
Exactly. So we've covered a lot here.
You have.
Essential vocabulary, practical phrases, and even some real-life supermarket dialogues. I'm feeling pretty confident about my next shopping trip.
Me too.
What about you?
Yeah, definitely. But, it's not just about the phrases.
Right.
The script also emphasizes the importance of smart shopping strategies,
Okay.
which go beyond just knowing the right words.
It's funny. We often just go to the supermarket on autopilot, just grab what we need and get out.
Yeah.
But this deep dive has really made me think about all the different ways we can use English, even in a place like the supermarket.
It's true. Learning can happen anywhere.
Right. And they start with something we've talked about before, but it's important, so I'm going to repeat it. Always check the expiration date.
Yes.
I know it sounds obvious, but I've definitely been guilty of just throwing things in my cart without even looking.
It happens. We all do it.
Yeah.
But taking a moment to check can save you from a lot of food waste.
And disappointment.
Exactly.
Okay, next tip. This one is for me
All right.
Compare prices.
Yes.
I am so bad at this. I just grab the first thing I see.
I know. But you can save so much money if you take the time to compare different brands and sizes.
You're telling me I need to break that habit.
Okay.
But for those times, when I am in a hurry, the script reminds us that self-checkout exists.
Oh, yes.
If you notice, those machines have gotten so much faster.
They really have.
It's amazing.
Technology is always improving.
Right.
And self-checkout systems have definitely benefited.
For sure. Now, here's a tip I hadn't really thought about before.
Yep.
Don't be afraid. To ask store employees
Mm-hmm.
for recommendations.
Oh, that's a good one.
Right.
I mean, they work there. They know the products.
Exactly.
You can give you valuable insights.
Especially if you're looking for something new.
Yeah.
Okay, last but not least, a reminder to bring those reusable bags.
Yes.
We all know it's important.
For the environment.
Right.
And some stores
Yeah.
even offer discounts if you use reusable bags.
So you save money and help the planet.
Exactly. Plus, it could be a conversation starter.
Oh, how so?
The cashier might comment on your bag,
Oh, that's true.
and that gives you a chance to practice your English.
You're so right. I love that. Wow. This whole deep dive has been eye-opening.
It has.
I thought I was a supermarket pro, but I've learned so much,
Me too.
both about English and about being a smarter shopper.
Absolutely.
But the learning doesn't have to stop here.
What do you mean?
Well, the script, it challenges listeners to actually put this knowledge into practice.
Oh, I like a good challenge.
So do I. They encourage listeners to pick one new phrase from this episode and try it out. On their next shopping trip,
Yep.
It could be anything. Asking for help, making small talk with the cashier, whatever you want.
The important thing is to step outside your comfort zone.
Right. And they even suggest that listeners reflect on the experience.
Interesting.
So, did using that new phrase boost your confidence? Did it spark a conversation? Did it make the whole shopping experience more enjoyable?
I love that.
Oh.
It's those little moments that make learning feel real.
Absolutely.
And who knows, maybe trying one new phrase will inspire them to learn even more.
Exactly. So there you have it. You've got your grocery list, your reusable bags, and now a whole bunch of phrases to make your next shopping trip a breeze.
You're all set.
But more importantly, you've got this new awareness of how language can empower you in everyday situations.
That's the key.
So go out there, be a savvy shopper, and don't be afraid to strike up a conversation. Happy shopping, everyone.
All right, so picture this. You've just landed in, I don't know, let's say Prague.
Okay.
You're completely jet lagged. You haven't eaten in like hours. And all you want is some yogurt. But standing between you and that yogurt is this just like a massive wall of yogurt.
Yeah.
Like brands you've never even heard of in your life.
Right.
All in Cyrillic.
Oh, yeah.
You have no idea what to do.
Absolutely.
And, you know, I've definitely been there, and it feels like a very universal experience.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Like this kind of supermarket standoff.
Yeah.
Of like, what do I do?
Yeah, definitely.
So today, we're going to try to arm you with the tools that you need to win that standoff.
That's right.
We are diving into this beginner's guide to English in the supermarket.
Sounds great.
So that no matter where you are in the world, as long as you can find a supermarket that speaks English, you can get the sustenance that you need.
Yeah, you know, I think what's really fascinating about supermarkets is that they're not just places to buy groceries, but they're really kind of cultural hubs.
Right.
And learning the language of the supermarket can unlock a deeper understanding of a society's habits, you know, values, even its history.
Yeah, absolutely. Like
Yeah, well-
when you walk into a supermarket, you can immediately tell what people value by what's at eye level, what's
Exactly.
at the end of the aisle, like what's on
Kind
sale.
of how things are organized.
Yeah.
The layout of the store itself tells a story.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this guide has so much good stuff in it. I mean, so much good stuff.
Oh, yeah.
It has like a great list of essential supermarket words.
Okay.
And some of them are, you know, pretty straightforward, but some of them I was like, I actually don't know if I've ever thought about how to pronounce this word before.
Interesting.
Like aisle, for example.
Aisle. Yeah, you know.
Yeah, aisle can be a tricky one.
Yeah.
I've even seen it misspelled sometimes as a aisle, like an island.
Oh, yeah?
But aisle itself, I think, speaks to the evolution of supermarkets.
Right.
Because you think about like early grocery stores, they were often really cramped and crowded, you know?
Like you would go up to a counter and ask for what you needed. But as the concept of self-service kind of grew and, you know, blossomed, aisles became these wider spaces that allowed for more products and that kind of quintessential shopping cart experience that we know.
And the shopping cart versus a basket.
Right.
Are there some cultures that have mostly baskets versus mostly carts?
That's a good question. I haven't really thought about that, but I imagine there are certain cultures that might favor baskets for maybe smaller purchases, or maybe they just don't have the space for large shopping carts.
Yeah.
But yeah, the word aisle itself kind of tells that story of the evolution of the supermarket.
Yeah, very cool. Okay, so this guide also goes into customer service and some of the like cultural differences that you might experience between an English-speaking supermarket and a supermarket that doesn't speak English.
Right.
And so I'm curious about like what are some of the things that we should know about?
Well, I think politeness is really emphasized in the guide.
Okay.
But the level of formality can really vary, you know?
In some English-speaking countries, you might find that casual chit-chat with the cashier is quite common.
Okay.
You know, like talking about the weather or asking about their day.
Right.
But in other places, it might be more of a transactional interaction.
Okay.
You know, very quick and to the point.
So it's really all about reading the room.
Yeah, I think observing the locals is a great tip. Just to see how they interact with the staff.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, so let's move on to the fun stuff.
Okay.
This is what I was excited about, which are the essential supermarket phrases.
Right.
Because we can learn all the words we want, but if we don't know how to actually put them together into coherent phrases,
Exactly.
then we're not going to get very far.
It's all about communication, right?
Right.
Being able to express your needs and ask for assistance.
Yeah. So what are some of the phrases that stand out to you?
Well, some of the ones that I think are really useful are things like, excuse me, where can I find the Dijon mustard?
Okay.
Or do you have this in a smaller size? Or even simple things like thank you.
Right.
Can go a long way in creating a positive interaction.
Right.
And adding please to your requests,
Right.
you know, makes a big difference as well.
Sure.
Like, could you please tell me where the bakery is?
Oh, yeah. That's so much better than, where's the bakery?
Exactly. It shows respect and consideration.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. I love that.
Yeah.
And then this guide also has some really great sample conversations.
Yeah.
That kind of put all these phrases into action.
Right.
So I thought it'd be fun to try one out.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. So let's say we're at the checkout and I've got all my groceries, you know, all scanned and ready to go.
Okay.
And I'll be the customer, you be the cashier.
All right. Sounds good.
Okay. So, hello, could I please have a bag and what's the total?
That'll be $23.50 for you.
Thanks. And could I get a receipt, please?
Of course. Have a good one.
Thanks, you too.
Perfect.
I already feel like I'm a better supermarket shopper.
I know, right? Just communicating clearly and confidently makes the whole experience so much smoother.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was so nice to say, could I please? Instead of just like,
It's demanding.
yeah, just like bag or receipt, you know?
Give me a bag.
Yeah. Yeah. Which I think is something that I'm probably guilty of doing from time to time,
Yeah, I think we've all been there.
especially when you're in a rush.
Exactly.
Okay. So, what about making a list? I'm terrible at this.
The shopping list.
Yeah.
The crucial tool,
Yeah.
not only for avoiding those impulse buys, you know,
Right.
but also for just staying organized.
Yeah.
You know, thinking about what you need and organizing your shopping by supermarket sections.
Right.
So you're not like wandering aimlessly up and down the aisles.
Yeah. And then ending up in the chip aisle when you were actually trying to go to the dairy aisle.
Exactly. It can save you so much time.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the guide also mentioned checking dates,
Oh, yes.
which I'm also guilty of forgetting.
It's important.
I once grabbed a carton of milk
Oh, no.
without looking, and let's just say it did not end well.
That's relatable. I think we've all had those moments where we've forgotten to check the date and ended up with something that's past its prime.
Oh, yeah.
But you know what the guide didn't mention is that in many English-speaking countries, you can actually often find discounted items that are close to their expiration date.
Oh, that's a good tip.
So if you're looking for a bargain, that's a great strategy.
That is a great strategy. Okay, so we've learned so much about how to navigate the English-speaking supermarket.
We have.
We've got our phrases, we've got our tips, we're checking our dates, we're making our lists.
We're ready. I think we're ready to win that standoff.
I think so, too.
But it also, you know, it occurs to me that, like, learning how to speak English in the supermarket is about so much more than just getting the groceries that you need.
Absolutely.
It's about feeling confident
Right.
and connected in a new cultural environment.
Yeah, it's about feeling like you can navigate the world around you
Right.
and interact with people from different cultures. And even just like the little act of saying thank you or please It can make such a difference.
It really can. It's those small gestures that show respect and build connections.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave you with a thought-provoking question.
Okay, I like it.
What can you learn about a society's values and priorities just by looking at its supermarket shelves?
Ooh, that's a good one.
What products are considered essential? How is food marketed and displayed?
I love that.
That's something to think about the next time you walk into a supermarket.
It is. It really makes you think about the cultural significance of these spaces.
Absolutely. Okay, well, we've armed you with the linguistic tools for a successful supermarket adventure.
We have.
Now go forth and shop with confidence.
Happy shopping, everyone.
And we'll catch you on our next deep dive.
See you next time.
Bye.